6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Wrong!
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the AFC Championship Overtime here on the Louie T Network, your continued wall-to-wall coverage of the National Football League playoffs. Playoffs? Man, let me start. I've got a couple of big takeaways from just the overall day of action and this game in particular as well. Takeaway number one. Damn, I love football and I love the playoffs. It sucks that my team is never involved, but God, this is why I love football. What a day of football. I don't know if we've had a better championship day than this one here. 2 overtime games. I know that's never happened before. I can go out. I don't need my crack staff to give me the stats as to whether this has happened or not. I can tell you there's never been a championship weekend where both championship games and respective conferences went to overtime in the same day to crown a champion in that respective conference. We've got a super chat, so I want to take care of that quickly. Thank you to Jonathan Delmos. He asks, damn it, Lou, why can't Andy win the big game? It's a great question, man. And I don't know. I mean, Andy's been to a Super Bowl, but Andy just can't get over the hump, and this was a great opportunity to do it. And for some reason, and Andy really didn't do much wrong in this game. There were a couple of things that I wasn't a huge fan of, but Andy didn't do much wrong in this game. But we got so much to talk about. But back to my original point. Thank you for the super chat again, Jonathan. What a great day of football. I mean, God, this was so good. And I talked about this on the podcast, and I thought this was going to be an exceptional weekend of football. But I thought last weekend was going to be an exceptional week in the divisional round. But I told you we got it right. I said this on numerous occasions. We got it right. I said, matter of fact, on this same program last week when we wrapped up the Saints and Eagles game, I said, we got it right with the 4 teams. We've got the best 2 matchups we could have gotten in the respective conferences for these championship games. We got the number 1 and number 2 seeds, the 4 best teams of football. They're all here. They all showed up. They're present. We should get good football. I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams that we would get 2 overtime games, though. With all the drama you could ask for, controversial plays in both, you couldn't have asked for a better Sunday. We didn't have any dumb missed field goal or anything stupid like that. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. We did have some calls that you could argue with, either way that could have impacted the outcome of the game. Obviously, a lot of people be talking about the Edelman play here, but there was so much good football after the Edelman play that a lot of people aren't even thinking about that. But that was a huge play at the time in a 17-14 game. It's a huge play. But nonetheless, what a game. Okay, next takeaway. Man, is Tony Romo good or what? Tony Romo is so good. I wish Tony Romo could do every game. He's so knowledgeable. He gives you the insight and the details that you're looking for, and he's right 95% of the time. Like, that quarterback sneak, he checks, he's like, okay, it's going to be zone. It's going to be a zone, outside zone. And what was it? Outside zone for a touchdown. He says, okay, they need to flex Gronk out. When they break the huddle, what does Gronk do? They flex him out. He said, okay, Gronk's out there. I'd go to Gronk one-on-one outside. What do? They go to Gronk. He says, okay, they got a chip with Gronk to give Tom Brady the time, and I'd look for Edelman over the middle. And what happens? Edelman over the middle of the goddamn field. Tony's so good, and he's on point every time, it seems like. Man, is he good. All right, next takeaway. Man, are we going to have a great Super Bowl? Are we going to have a great Super Bowl or what? Gosh, this was some good football. All right. Man, oh, man, are we going to have some good football. Next takeaway. Patrick Mahomes is going to be good for a really long time. I know you guys heard the report that the Chiefs are looking to make this man the first $200 million quarterback player in NFL history after the 2020 season. Again, there's so many things that have to transpire or that might be prior to the 2020 season. There's a strike coming. I've already told you there's a lockout coming in 2021. I don't know what's going to happen. As we get closer to it, you'll hear more about it. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a lockout. There's too many differences. But this isn't the time to talk about that. There's too much good stuff going on right now in the National Football League. Next takeaway. Man, Tom Brady is ridiculous. God, he's so good. For those of you who still don't believe he's not the best ever, I don't know. What more do you want from TB? What more do you want from him? All right? What more can I say? What more can I say about TB12 that hasn't already been said? The man is so clutch. The B&B winning factory strike again. I told you not to doubt them. I got this game wrong. I'm not going to sit here and chastise anybody for not picking the Patriots. I didn't pick the Patriots in this game. But I told anybody that would listen all season long, stop doubting the Patriots. And I even said one of the keys to the game was play the underdog card because they don't get to do it very often, and they do it better than anybody else. And we'll get to the keys to the game here in a second. This is my final takeaway. And then we'll go to the keys to the game so I can get to my quick synopsis and then get to your comments. For a while there, I struggled with Rob Gronkowski as a Hall of Fame football player. I said the injuries, I didn't feel like his career was long enough. What the hell was I smoking, man? This dude is a surefire Hall of Famer. And what I don't think I've actually realized and I've come to appreciate because of the greatness of Tom Brady, you know, I always try to rationalize to the Tom Brady haters that he's never had an elite play. Rob Gronkowski is as elite as it gets at tight end for the duration of his career. And when they show some of his numbers, I'm just floored and flabbergasted just how dominant he's been. And I don't know why this hasn't dawned upon me as I sit and I ponder whether this man is Hall of Fame material or not. Are you crazy? You need to go wash your face and get your mind right. If you don't think Rob Gronkowski is a Hall of Fame football player, they just showed a stat that blew my mind. Total mind blow. He's the first tight end in NFL history, I think I saw, with over 100 postseason catches. And I just looked at that and I said, wow. And yeah, I understand. The Patriots have played in like 24 playoff games, or he's played in at least 20 playoff games probably himself with this group. He probably missed a couple on the front end. Brady's playing in what, 30? You know, 28, somewhere in there, 28 to 31, somewhere in there. I think Brady's like 23-7 in the postseason or something, like some crazy number. You know, 22-8, 22-23-9, something crazy like that. So Gronk has probably been there for about at least 22 or so of those postseason games. So I know there's a lot of games, but that's a lot of catches in the postseason. The guy's dominant, and every time they needed a big play, who did Tom go to? If it wasn't Edelman, it was Gronk. And in the biggest, most clutch situations in this football game, when they had to have it, when they were down, he went to Gronk. And the guy was unflappable, man. And it's amazing because they may not throw it to Gronk. They threw the first two passes of the game to Gronk, and we didn't hear from Gronk in the pass game till the fourth quarter, the late stages of the fourth quarter. But what he did in between that time was he blocked the shit out of the Chiefs defenders. In the run game, in the pass game, he is the most complete tight end we've seen in quite some time. And the guy's definitely a Hall of Famer. Say what you want about him, the injuries, this, that, and the third. The dude is definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't know if you needed to be sold. You probably already thought that. I didn't. And I came to my senses tonight. And it shouldn't have taken tonight's performance, because this wasn't one of his best, but it was another one in the long list and long line of great performances by Gronk in clutch games and in the postseason. He did it again. And so now I've finally come around. If this is it, if the game in 2 weeks is the final game we see Rob Gronkowski in an NFL uniform, the guy's a Hall of Famer. And I just thought I needed to say that. In any event, let's get to these keys to the game. So I gave you the keys to the game in the preview for this matchup. Let's start with the road team, the team that ended up being victorious. Two roadies getting it done today. I don't recall the last time that's happened, where two road teams in the championship weekend, because unlike in other sports, home field advantage matters in the NFL, and generally, if you're home in the championship game, you're most likely going to advance to the Super Bowl. We saw two roadies go in and get it done in you could argue the two most hostile environments in all of football. You know, you can throw Seattle in there, but for my money, in both respective conferences, I think you just went into the two most hostile environments and road teams won. And I didn't see that coming. I didn't. I was one of those people, and if you want to point the finger at me, I know my man on Twitter that I was talking to pointed the finger at me and laughed and said, I want the Patriots and the Rams to play each other for everyone that thought it was going to be Saints-Chiefs. I'm guilty as charged. I was one of those people that thought the two home teams were going to take care of home and move on to the Super Bowl, and I was flat out wrong. After starting out the postseason in the first 2 weekends, 3-1 in both weeks for a total of 6-2, I went 0-2 in the championship game, and they were two nail-biters and excellent contests. Keys to victory for the Patriots in this game: experience and start fast. Check and check. I told you that the Chiefs didn't have any, and they isn't that crazy that I talk about experience? They highlighted at the top of the program, essentially, that first quarter. They talked about all the experience the Patriots had and all the games played. I think it was like 123 total games, and they went to the Chiefs side of a big zero. No experience in the championship game. And I talked about experience because it matters this time of the year. And I said, start fast. Because of that experience, this game shouldn't be as nerve-wracking for you. Yeah, you're going to have, I talked about this, you're going to have butterflies in your stomach. There's going to be a little bit more anxiety because it is a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. But it's going to go away a lot faster for you than it is the Chiefs. It's going to take them about a quarter to wake the hell up. And what did it take them? About a half to wake the hell up. In any event, the Patriots did exactly what I thought they would do. Start fast because of their experience, so they checked off that box. Protect TB12. I don't know if he was sacked in this game. They did a phenomenal job of protecting him. Now, he was close. There was a couple of close calls, including Justin Houston almost forcing a fumble and Tom having to step up and beautifully, as he's done so many times in his career, manipulating the pocket. But they did a phenomenal job the last 2 weeks of protecting Tom Brady. And I thought teams would be able to get a little bit of pressure on him, and they have essentially turned off any rush faucet that there's been. We didn't hear from Bosa and Ingram last week. We didn't hear from 5-5 or 5-0, except from 5-5 with one of the most crucial penalties of the game. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but in any event, they protected TB12. Get a check mark there. PlayStation. I'd say that right now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Sony Michel has been the second best rookie running back this season behind, you guessed it, New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley. He was a first-round pick for a reason. I thought he was the better of the two Georgia backs. He's proving it. The only thing that is stopping Sony Michel from being in more conversations about rookies this season is he's been injured. But when he's been healthy, he's been effective. He's been dominant this postseason. 29 carries, $113, and what was it, 2 touches in this game? After, I think, 3 last week. The guy's been phenomenal this postseason, and he was a huge part of the reason why the Patriots were able to go on the road into Arrowhead and come out victorious. Another check mark. Take something away. Nobody does it better than Bill Belichick, the mastermind behind this Patriots dynasty. When we talk about the Patriots defensively, we never talk about stars. We never talk about how flashy they are in defense. There's never a guy with 16.5 sacks. There's never that one guy that you look at and say, man, he's a difference maker. At one point, it's Hightower. At one point, it's the corner that they got from Buffalo. It's always somebody, but it's never a guy. But this is what Belichick does. He takes something away. And he does it better than anybody else in the league and maybe in league history. And generally, he takes away what you do best. Generally, he takes away your best weapon. What did he do? He took Tyreek Hill completely out of this game. How many times did we hear his name? Some of that is on the Chiefs. I don't think they got it in the number 10's hands enough. All right. But also give credit where credit is due. Some of that is due to Bill Belichick saying, hey, we're going to double this guy. Wherever the hell he goes, there will be 2 defenders on his ass. He will not decide the outcome of this game by his damn self. So take something away. They also said, and on top of not being able to get the football to your most explosive playmaker, we're going to take away the run as well. So good luck winning this football game without being able to lean on the crutch of the run game and have explosive plays with number 10 making it happen. So you got to give the Patriots credit for doing what they do best, taking something away. They did it in this game, and it helped them get this 37-31 overtime victory. And finally, I talked about this already, but I'll just quickly gloss over it. Play the underdog card. Nobody in league history plays it better than the Patriots. They don't get to play it often. Brady hasn't been an outright underdog since 2014, but that's exactly what he was in this game. And he went out. They played the underdog card last week against the Chargers, and rightfully so. I thought the disrespect last week was ridiculous, and I thought it was so palpable you could cut it with a knife. This week, I thought the disrespect was warranted. You were on the road in a hostile environment against the best team in your conference. You deserve to be an underdog, but go play that damn card anyway. They did it. They won again. It's what they do best, and they're back in the Super Bowl I've lost count now. What is Brady in the Super Bowl? 6-4 in the Super Bowl? 5-4? He's 5-4. So this will be his 10th trip along with Belichick. So the 10th time these two have been in a Super Bowl. It is a remarkable feat, one that we will never, ever see again. I used to say this all the time when we used to watch Peyton Manning. I used to always tell you guys, you need to respect what you're seeing right now. You need to bask in the glow of what you're watching. You're witnessing history on a level that you will never see it again. You don't have to like these guys. You can think they're cheaters. You can say what you want about Brady and Belichick, but the B&B winning factory wins on a level and at a clip we've never seen and we will never see again. It's similar to the San Antonio Spurs. You need to respect what you're watching right now because it is greatness on a level that you will never, and I'm telling you right now, you will never, ever see a coach and quarterback do it like this again. I digress, and I move on to the Chiefs. Their keys to victory. Showtime, I thought he showed up in the second half. It was eerily similar to the first time these two teams met. Really lackluster first half, a dominant second half. Mahomes turned it up when his team needed him the most. He made plays. There's not much more to say. I thought he played exceptional football in the second half and gave his team a chance to win this football game. They get a check there. Dame time. Damian Williams wasn't great on the ground, but what he lacked on success on the ground, I thought he helped in the receiving game. He had some big catches, including a touchdown grab in this game. I thought he was solid. He wasn't great. They get a half a check there, but he made a difference in this football game. Weapons of mass destruction. I've talked about the amount of weaponry that the Chiefs have, which makes them such, and you heard them talk. I thought Tony Romo's analogies were spot on. This team is similar to the Golden State Warriors in their ability to score. They score so quickly. They can run up the score in the blink of an eye. You could be right there, and the next thing you know, you're down 14. And I've talked about their weapons. I talk about how they go 3-4 deep at just about every skill position on the offensive side of the football. And you saw it in this game. There was no Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce didn't really hurt you. And what happens? Samuel Watkins goes for a buck and some change. All right. You get Damian Williams catching it out of the backfield. You get Spencer Ware with a big catch down the sidelines. I mean, everybody else chipped in and helped and did their part. And that's why this team is so dangerous. Demarcus Robinson, as I mentioned before, with a big catch late in the ball game. That's what you get from a team that has weapons of mass destruction. It doesn't have to be Kelce. It doesn't have to be Hill. It can be somebody else. And so it was a bunch of other guys. But in order to win this game, you needed one of those guys to really step up. And really, neither one of them did. Kelce, how many drops did he have in this game? And Hill just was a non-factor. And some of that, again, you got to put on the Chiefs and say, you got to get the football to number 10. I don't care if it's on a screen, jet sweep, toss out of the backfield. You got to find more ways for number 10 to touch the football. He didn't touch it enough. Similar to the Bears with Tariq Cohen. He didn't touch it enough versus the Eagles. I don't think Tyreek Hill touched the ball enough tonight, but that's another story for another day. Jonesin. Talked about Chris Jones needing to have a very big game and be a very massive presence on the interior. That's how you get to Brady. That's how you disrupt him. He wasn't a factor in the pass game, wasn't a real factor in the run game. Did have a batted ball. He did call out the play that led to the Reggie Ragland interception. So from that standpoint, he did have an impact. But I thought he needed to have more interior pressure. He didn't. And that roughing the passer penalty on him was straight garbage. So that was one that the Chiefs definitely didn't get there. And then beat them, not yourself. Unfortunately, the Chiefs didn't do many things wrong in this game, but the biggest issue I have with them in this game, or the biggest thing that they did to beat themselves, and it was huge, was the D Ford offsides penalty. You don't have that, you win this game in regulation. You can't have that kind of a mistake at that time of the game. It just can't happen. And it did. And so, as much as you didn't beat yourself, you beat yourself one time, and that was enough to get you beat against a team that I told you did not need your help in this game. So, again, I'd got to dock you on that one. That one stings there. So, 3.5 for the Chiefs, all 5 for the Patriots. That's why they're the Patriots, because they get it done. They check off every single box, and they win this football game 37-31. So, let's get to a quick synopsis of this game. Really, I just want to get to your comments. This game was so much fun to watch. The fourth quarter and into overtime was just riveting football, back and forth. Mahomes down, needs a touchdown, needs a field goal to tie. Brady needs a touchdown, needs a field goal. It was just back and forth action, and I wanted overtime so bad. I did, and I didn't think I was going to get it. I thought I was going to get the Patriots winning this game, and then when I saw that they scored, and I'm not sure that the Chiefs didn't let them score that touchdown, and I said to myself, it'd probably be in your best interest to let them score, get the football back with 39 seconds and a timeout, and with Mahomes and the way this offense is so explosive, you're going to have a chance to get in the field goal range, and lo and behold, they scored. I don't know if they let them score, but I would have let them score, and so they did score. They were able to get the football back, got a great return. They were able to get a quick chunk play to Spencer Ware on a great diving catch and a great throw by Mahomes. And then you end up getting into field goal range, and you're able to, on another big play, this time to Demarcus Robinson, you get the penalty on offside, so that stops the clock for you. And boom, just like that, we got overtime. I got my wish. And so it was back and forth. Mahomes had a chance to lead his team down the field for a touchdown and take the lead. He did. Brady had a chance to take his team down the field to win the football game. He did. And then Mahomes had a chance to tie it up and send it to overtime, and he did. And so it was just back and forth. It was a seesaw affair. You had a feeling that whoever got the football first in overtime was going to win this game. And unfortunately, we've talked about this Chiefs defense all year long and how we didn't think they were good enough to get it done, and how we thought they were the Achilles heel of this football team, and that in the most critical juncture of their season, this Chiefs defense is going to let them down. Unfortunately, that came to fruition tonight. And you know what the sad part is? For about 3 quarters, maybe even 3.5 quarters, this Chiefs defense was the reason that they were even in this game. Like, their defense was playing exceptional. That 4th down stop on Burkhead, come on, man. And I killed Daniel Sorensen. Let me apologize to him tonight. He's still trash in my book, but Daniel Sorensen was a difference maker tonight. And I kill him all the time. I kill Daniel Sorensen every chance I get. But that 4th down stop was all Daniel Sorensen. The pick off of the hands of Edelman, all Daniel Sorensen. He was exceptional tonight. But this defense, when they needed a stop, they had ample opportunities to win this game in regulation, and they could not get the stop to put this game away. And when they did, D Ford thought it was okay to line up in the neutral zone. So this defense, we said it was a farce. We said this defense was Swiss cheese. We said this defense was going to cost them, and they had been playing their asses off in this postseason. But when it was all said and done, this defense did what we thought they were going to do, and that was wet the bed in the most critical juncture of the game. And so that's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Let's get to your comments. What a game. What a Sunday. What a Super Bowl we got coming. All right. So let's get to your comments. I got Munson says, both games were great tonight. Never thought I would see Tyreek and Kelsey schemed out so well. Maybe one of them, but both of them, Lou. Brady is the GOAT, plain and simple. I can't disagree with one thing you just said. Also says, did Andy Reid know he was allowed to call a timeout to give his defense a breather? Good Lord. You know what? I think he was in total shell shock at that point. I don't know what the hell he was thinking there, because at this point of the game, who gives a shit about your timeouts? If you don't get this stop, the game is over. So if burning your timeouts forces the Patriots to have to settle for a field goal, then you do that. I think Andy was in full free fall mode at that point, because he saw his season pretty much flashing before his eyes. He should have called a timeout, though. I agree. Colts fan says, damn these Pats, Lou. I sure hope that the Rams destroy their ass as well. You can hope all you want, but that shit is not going to happen. It's going to be a great game, but whoever wins it, it's going to be close. It will be no blowouts in this Super Bowl. I can assure you of that. Colts fan says, I went 0 for 2 on my predictions today, Lou. I did too. Don't feel bad. He said, who would have thought both of the roadies would waltz in and take the dubs? I said that at the top, man. I don't think anybody predicted that, man. Somebody did. I won't say that. It's not hard for two people to say, you know what, I got the 2 road teams, but it's just hard to imagine that happening. It really is. Reid says, I am so goddamn sick of the Patriots. You're not alone, man. It's a lot of people out there that echo those sentiments and feel exactly the same way that you do. But like I said, respect greatness, all right? Respect it. Colts fan says, let's pray that Sam Darnold becomes the next great quarterback so they can knock off the Patriots. Good luck with that. Even if he becomes really good, it won't be in enough time to affect this dynasty. I can tell you that. He won't be good enough until after Brady says, you know what, I'm about done. And that's when you'll probably see somebody in that division start to make a power move. Michael Thompson says, we would have thought Louie, he said, we would have thought Louie Patriots found a way. Anakin was the right, the dark side is the way. Don't be fooled. I try to warn you guys that don't count the Patriots out. I thought they were going to lose this game, but I've been telling you that all season. When they were 1-2 and looked horrible on Sunday night versus the Lions, I said, stop that. Don't count these guys out. They're the B&B winning factory for a reason. CF Coaster says, that game was absolutely bonkers. What a game. Yes, it was. Indeed. That was one hell of a football game. Darth Vader BI says, if the Chiefs had time to run the 2-minute warning instead of scoring quick, would this still be the outcome? I don't know what the outcome would have been. You know, there were so many opportunities, similar to what I said in the first game. There were opportunities for the Chiefs to come out on top in this game. And, you know, they just didn't take advantage. Obviously, to me, the biggest mistake in the game, and I'm going to keep harping on this because I don't know if other people are going to, but the game was over. There was a pick there. The game was done. And D Ford was offsides. Why? I don't know. But it's not hard to look down the line and look at the ball and see if you're across that line. There's never an excuse for lining up. It's one thing if you jump early trying to get an early start, but to line up offsides in the neutral zone, there's no excuse for that. I got Munson says, so Boy Wonder versus the Evil Empire for the chip. Not sure what Vegas will say, but I got to give the early advantage to the Pats. Extra week to break down that offense. I'd have to agree with you there. Just the experience factor alone, I think, will force Vegas to give them the nod. The 20th Mike says, what a game, Lou. You were right about those timeouts. He said, if they have not challenged that call, they would have had 2 timeouts and more of a chance to win the game. I feel bad for Chiefs fans. CF Coaster says, that was brave of you to predict the Pats winning your title vid before the game was over. I just knew it was coming. I saw it midway through the third quarter, I believe it was. And even though the Chiefs, and I didn't change it. I didn't go back and change it, even when the Chiefs, because I said, this is the type of game the Pats win. And I never once thought the Chiefs were going to win this football game. After about the midway point of the third quarter, even when the Chiefs started to rally, I said, this is the type of game the Patriots find a way to win. It's why the B&B winning factory has been so successful, because they're generally on the right side of these types of games. We saw it last year when they should have lost to Jacksonville. They had no business winning that game. But these are the types of games they find a way to win. And I had nothing but the utmost confidence that they were going to win this football game. So that's why I predicted a win in my video, in the title, before the game was even over. I didn't think it was going to go to overtime, though. That I did not expect. The 20th Mike says, a coin basically made the decision for the end of the game. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, man. Whoever won the toss, I felt like was going to go right down the field and score a touchdown. I really felt that way. I didn't think either one of these offenses could be stopped at this point. And so whoever got the toss was probably going to go down the field and score. But give Brady some credit. He made some crucial throws on some critical third downs in that overtime. And the Chiefs had great defense, and it was just a better throws. Those Edelman throws on those third downs, that Gronk throw, those were all perfect throws. Perfect throws. Emperor Meach says, the same thing that killed the Chiefs all season killed them tonight, which was the defense. Inability to stop the run and being awful against the pass doomed them. Exactly. It's what we said all season long, and we hoped that it wouldn't come to fruition, and it did. They couldn't stop the run all season long, but teams didn't get a chance to run it as much because they were always ahead. Well, the Patriots jumped out on top. They got to run it. You saw Sony Michel have success. And then when they had to throw it, their defense against the pass couldn't get to Brady. And if they weren't going to get to Brady, he was going to carve them up. I told you that in the Keys to Victory. If they can't get to Brady, he's going to surgically take them apart. And that he did in this game. Reid says, not watching the Super Bowl, Lou. I hate one team and the other team that won because the other got robbed. You say that, Reid, but I fully expect you to be in the comment section after the Super Bowl because you watched. But we'll see. You may actually try to not watch the game. I don't understand how you could possibly invest this much time into the season and then quit on the final game, and it's going to be a stellar one. Angry Birds of Chaos says, great game. You think Brady might retire after the Super Bowl? Brady's not retiring until Brady can't physically do it anymore. He could win 3 more Super Bowls, and if he thinks he can play for another 3 years, the guy loves the game of football. He's not going to stop playing until he can't play at the level that he's accustomed to playing. Black Al B says, what it do, Lou? What's up, Black Al B? Says, man, after following you, I've learned you never, ever bet against the GOAT Brady. Man, shaking my head. Unreal. I'm glad someone has learned from me in the way of Brady and Belichick, the B&B winning factory. They do this, man. This is what they do. If they do nothing else and they know nothing else, they know how to win. All right? Say what you want about them. You can call them cheaters, the Patriots. I know I see all of that stuff. Make sure after you're done, you say they win. All right? After all of the stuff you say about them, they deflate footballs, they record people, whatever you want to say, at the end, make sure you put a period and then you say, oh, by the way, they win. And then I'm fine. I'm fine with whatever you say before that, as long as at the end you make sure you say that they win. Because that's what they do. And they do it better than anybody else. Cody says, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. This is giving the Pats another Super Bowl. Again, it doesn't make any sense not to watch. Hype Dude says, 2 good games. Wow, overtime ×2. Never would have thought. Kevin says, Gronk back at it. It's amazing that this could be Gronk's last game in the Super Bowl, and the guy was dominant in this game, especially when they had to have it. He made plays. But I do think he needs to retire. I think he's still got enough health. You know, the back is a problem. You know, walk away while you still can. And this guy's got buku endorsement dollars off the field coming his way. Well, after he's done, he's still going to be doing commercials and reality television and everything under the sun. The guy, and for as dense as he seems sometimes, Gronk's a lot smarter than you think he is. Anyway, Reid says, the way the Saints got robbed is eerily similar to the way my Bucks got robbed in '99, the NFC Championship game against the Rams. That's a touchy subject because I should have beat you. I should have beat your Bucks the week before. So I don't even want to hear anything about you complaining about your Bucks in the championship game. You shouldn't have made it out of the divisional round. Anyway, Emperor Meach says, it's inexcusable for Brady to go 13 of 19 on third down. Edelman ate them alive all night. And by the way, the roughing the passer call made me on Brady. What? LOL, he says. Yeah, that roughing the passer call was trash. But again, 13 of 19 on third down. Edelman, like you said, was just money on third downs in this game. Chris Hogan had a couple of catches. Brady can spray it around to the backs. You know that's always a possibility. And then there's Gronk. There's a big elephant in the room named Gronk as well. Reid says, I despise the Saints, Lou, and even I cannot deny they got screwed. Reid says, that was a bullshit roughing the passer call. 20th Mike says, Tom Brady plays the best underdog. Matthew Lynch says, it was a 2-sided coin. CF Coaster says, can we clone Romo and have them take over all announcing games? He might be the best announcer I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. He's so good. Man, my girl was watching the game with me, and she was like, damn, Tony. And she can't stand Tony Romo. He says, man, Tony Romo's so good at this. I said, isn't he? Man, Tony Romo is awesome. Hype Dude says, Edelman almost lost them the game, but ended up being key in the Pats win. That interception he allowed was so ironic, though, after the foolish attempt of going for the ball on the kick. And I thought Tony Romo did it again. Going back to Tony Romo making great analogies. In basketball, they say the ball don't lie. So if a guy gets fouled and it's not really a foul and he goes to the foul line, just to give you a little bit of background information in case you're not well versed in the ball don't lie theory that was adopted and developed by my man Rasheed Wallace, the great Rasheed Wallace. Ball don't lie. If you get fouled when you really didn't get fouled and you're going to the free throw line, ball don't lie. That means you're going to miss one of these free throws. And generally it's the first one, so I can look at you and say, ball don't lie. Well, I didn't think Edelman touched the football, so let me be clear on my stance here. I didn't think he touched the football. I thought it was a call that needed to be overturned. I'm glad they overturned it. I thought it was the right call to overturn it. I didn't think he touched it. As a matter of fact, he didn't touch it. All right? So there's that. But then, obviously, the football gods decided differently. All right? Ball don't lie. Skips off his fingers into the hands of a Chiefs defender and in Daniel Sorensen, and Chiefs were in business. So, yeah. Ball don't lie. Reid says, all that being said, it was one hell of a game. Angry Birds of Chaos says, I think Tom Brady isn't the best QB ever. He's the greatest NFL player of all time with leadership, achievements, and etc. Your thoughts? I can't disagree with that, man. I mean, usually we put quarterbacks in their own category, and football is one of those sports where it's so tough because each position is so hard to compare to other positions and their impact on the game. But the thing about the quarterback position is it's the most important position, not just in the sport of football. It's the most important position in all of sports. And so you can make that claim. It's hard to make that claim for a running back or a linebacker or a corner, but it's a really easy claim to make for a quarterback because he has such an impact on the game every single week. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't. Chuck Sharp says, D Ford, shaking my head. Man, 5'5" has got to be sick to his stomach. Chuck Sharp also says, Brady might end his career the way it started. First Super Bowl was against the Rams. Brady he's not retiring, guys. Let me reiterate this to you. Brady wants to play. They're going to have to drag Brady off the field with a spatula. All right? Like, they're literally going to have to tie this man in a straitjacket and send him home and not allow him to play football. The man isn't quitting if he still can play. Trust me. Gregory Lightbody says, you think when Brady retires, the Patriots will be good? No, I don't. Reid says, Brady is not the greatest QB of all time. If he played in Montana's era, he'd get reamed and have a 5-year career. You can't do that. You can't take guys and place them in other eras. It's not conceivable. You don't know what he would have done in a different era. You don't know what these other quarterbacks would have done in this era. I can tell you this much. Most of the quarterbacks in the old era would have loved this era because you could barely touch the quarterback. But, again, it's so hard to say what you can and can't do. Brady's had a taste of both eras. Even back, because remember, they changed the rules because of the Patriots. The 5-yard chuck rule, because of how aggressive they used to be against the Colts and really jacking up their receivers. They changed the rules, the 5-yard rules, the holding, all of that stuff, illegal contact. All that was the Patriots. The Ty Law rule is what they called it because of how aggressive they were against the Colts back in the days. But Brady won pre-illegal contact, holding, all of that good stuff. But it doesn't matter. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It really, at the end of the day, Brady's still one of the best to ever do it, period. Matthew Lynch says, I give the Rams 0 chance to win. None. Okay. Buffalo Pregame says, Chris Berman is doing NFL primetime tonight. I know, along with Tom Jackson and Keyshawn Johnson. That was supposed to be one of the big things. I'm not going to watch because I don't care. But that show, when it was in its prime, and I've talked about that on my podcast before, so I'm not going to rehash it now. But when that show was in its prime, there wasn't one better. Hype Dude says, Did you notice how the refs twice took forever to reassure us that the time was correct? LOL. Yeah, because they had to tell us what the hell the holdup was for. Like, you couldn't just have that big powwow, take 2 minutes, and then just wind the clock and say, all right, we're ready for play. We need to know what the hell's going on. So he's just like, hey, we were just making sure that the time was right, and it is. All right, carry on. Black Al B says, tonight was the first time I've ever been tempted to go to the dark side of becoming a Patriots fan. CTFU. He says, complete ice water running through the pipes of the B&B winning factory. God damn it. Hey, those boys are so cold-blooded over there, man. I swear. Those boys, they do it like no other, man. Cody says, I am sorry, but there is no way the Rams win next week. It may even be a blowout. Well, they don't play next week. So you're right. There's no way the Rams will win next week because there isn't a game next week. But the week after that, the Rams do have a shot. Buffalo pregame says, my hatred for the Patriots is indescribable. I'm so sick of them. I can't wait for Brady to retire. Damn it, D Ford. D Ford, I know a lot of people are like, D Ford, you ass. Derek B says, Chiefs fans will still find a way to blame Alex Smith. I heard a couple of Chiefs fans blame Alex Smith. No, I didn't. I didn't really. But, yeah, you're right. There's somebody out there saying, God damn it, Alex Smith. We need to get rid of his ass. Emperor Meat says, Brady wasn't sacked at all tonight. I didn't think he was. Gotta hit him to make him uncomfortable. They never did that. Chiefs start slow. He said, Chiefs slow start hurt them. You can't wait until the second half to show up on offense. And even with that said, they had 2 chances to win this football game and squandered both of them. So while I hear you, they had the lead in the fourth quarter twice and allowed the Patriots to go down and score a touchdown both times. So there's that. Reid says, how can you not even be a little tired of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl every goddamn year, Lou? Because I am a connoisseur. I told you I'm a professional football watcher first. I am a connoisseur of football. What that means is I just respect good football. And the Patriots play the best football in the AFC almost every single year. And if they're the best that the AFC has to offer, bring them on against the best that the NFC has to offer. What I don't want to see is the Chargers get in and get their ass whooped like they did in the divisional round. I don't want them to find a way into the Super Bowl and infiltrate my Super Bowl. The one thing the NFL doesn't do, and I can respect this, other sports, again, the Super Bowl is a 1-game playoff, all right? It's a 1-game elimination game. It's sudden death. I love it. All the other sports have series. The thing I love about the Super Bowl is they get it right every year. When's the last ass whooping that we had in the Super Bowl? I think you got to go back to 2013 when the Broncos got their doors blown off by the Seahawks, like 48-7, 47-8, something like that, 45-8, 43-8, something along those lines. You got to go back to that game. And then before that, when was the last ass whooping we had? Like, they don't happen very often. Why? Because the Patriots are in the Super Bowl every year, and you know you're going to get a good game. Because it's usually the best team in the NFC and then the best team in the AFC, which is usually the Patriots. So that's why I'm not tired of it, because I'm a professional football watcher, and I want to watch the best play the best. And if the Patriots are the best, so be it. Chuck Sharp says, can you see Tom Brady losing back-to-back Super Bowls? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I definitely can. He's done it before. All right, remember, he lost in 2007 to the Giants. He lost in 2011 to the Giants. He's lost back-to-back. Now, when you say back-to-back, if you're talking 2 years in a row, he's never done that. But if you're talking just 2 times that he's been in a row, he's done that before. Buffalo pregame says, prediction was 28-24, would have been a perfect score if it wasn't for that penalty. At least 3 flags wasn't late like it normally does. Yeah, I had a prediction somewhere around there too. I don't remember what my prediction was, but I know my prediction was the Chiefs winning by 4. So I know I was somewhere. I thought it might have been 27-23, I think I had. Anyway, Buffalo pregame says, the first Rams-Patriots Super Bowl since Spygate. Vincent Coe says, I actually really enjoyed Tony Romo being a commentator. So smart about the plays and everything. Is he one of the top commentators in the game now? Okay, so he's what you call an analyst. All right. The play-by-play guy is Jim Nantz. That's Al Michaels. That's Mike Tirico. So Joe Tessitore is a play-by-play guy on Monday Night Football. Tony Romo is the best analyst on television, bar none. In the NFL, let me take that back. In the NFL, because generally your analyst is an ex-player, ex-coach, somebody that had experience in the league, and now they're giving you their experience. John Gruden, for instance, was an analyst. The play-by-play guy was Mike Tirico. The play-by-play guy was Sean McDonough, and Gruden was the analyst. There's not a better analyst in the NFL right now than Tony Romo. For my money, he's far and away the best that the NFL has. It's not even close. And to think that seat used to be occupied by Phil Simms. They did a great job of hanging on to Phil until the right guy and Tony Romo came along for the job. Credit CBS for doing that. Patrick Avellino says, is it me or does Andy Reid have issues with clock management? I don't know how many times I've seen his teams take a late lead against the Pats and give it up to TV a minute and 30 to 2 minutes and lose. Andy Reid has always had clock management issues. It's one of his biggest defects as a coach. He doesn't know how to manage the clock very well. I don't think he had too many issues in this game. The one issue that I had with him, but he cleaned it up rather quickly, was after the Patriots got down, I want to say it was a Gronk catch or it might have been a run. Either way, they got deep into Chiefs territory. You knew they were going to score at that point. He needed to call a timeout. I think he let like 7 seconds roll off the clock before he iced his timeout. And I'm like, bruh, you got to play for getting the football back. That was the only thing he didn't do. But anyway, Chuck Sharp says, guarantee you people will still pick against the Patriots. Rodney Ray says, Tony Romo is a better commentator than an NFL QB, and he was a damn good QB. I don't disagree with any one of those statements at all. The 20th Mike says, oh, so the playoffs overtime rules are much different than the regular season overtime rules. Yes, they are. It's like a whole new quarter. And it's like starting the whole game over with. You get your 3 timeouts back. In regular overtime, you only get 2 timeouts. In the playoffs overtimes, you get 3 timeouts. It's 15 minutes in the playoff overtimes. In the regular season, it's 10-minute overtime. So it's vastly different. Vastly different. Derek B says, the Chiefs defense kept them in the game until the offense got on track. But then they were the Achilles heel when they needed to stop. The offense can't take a half off and expect to win. Agree. Reid says, hey, Lou, off topic. Any heads up on your draft prospect one-on-one series? I have some questions about a few prospects. That's coming down the line. I'm going to try to get started on that a lot earlier this year than I have in past years. The 20th Mike says, a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl game will be nice. Well, that's not going to happen. Derek B says, McVay in the Super Bowl in year 2 really hammers home at what a dumpster fire the Redskins are as an organization. I always thought that they should have never let that guy leave the building. At the time, though, when he left, I was a huge fan of Jay Gruden, so I didn't have a problem with them allowing McVay to leave. As a matter of fact, I probably said it on a video that I was okay with him leaving. I didn't want him to go, but at the time, I didn't want them to get rid of Jay Gruden either. But, hindsight is 20/20. It is what it is. Redskin Nation says, Tom Brady is going to retire if he wins the Super Bowl. He said, also, it seems fitting knowing it's against the Rams where he got his first one. I'm telling you, Tom Brady is not retiring, guys. You can go ahead and forget about that. He is not retiring. Win or lose, he's not retiring. Q-Bone says, it's another Super Bowl repeat, baby. Congratulations again to you and your boys for getting into the chip. Mario Washington says, Pat's winning by 17 in the Super Bowl, bro. It won't be close. I'm not buying that, man. Hype Dude says, is it Brady or the Patriots team people hate on so much? If Brady starts playing for another team, would people still root for his downfall? I think it's more so the Patriots than just Brady himself. I think Brady personifies New England in the Patriots way, but, Brady's taking less, all that good stuff to help them try to win. But at the end of the day, people just hate seeing one team win all the time. It's the reason why people hate Duke in basketball. It's the reason why people hate the Lakers in basketball. And professional basketball and Duke in college basketball. It's a reason why people hate the Yankees in Major League Baseball. You've got to have a villain, and generally your villain is the team that wins all the time. Right now, Golden State is the new villain in the NBA. You either love Golden State or you hate them. For a long time, it was the Lakers. You know, Kobe Bryant was an easy villain when he was a player. So generally, you know, the only team that I've ever seen win and sustain winning over a long period of time and no one hate them was the San Antonio Spurs, and they were too likable of a team, and there was not one guy that you looked at, maybe other than their head coach Greg Popovich, that you said, man, this guy's an ass. Only guy that was an asshole on the team was the coach. But even he being an ass was overlooked because Tim Duncan was a nice guy. Tony Parker was a nice guy. Ginobili was a nice guy. Like, there was too many nice guys. So, generally, people don't like to see the same team win over and over. So, it's more of a Patriots thing, less of a Brady thing. But Brady personifies the Patriots, so he gets lumped in. And really, he's the guy that drives that entire vehicle. So, because Brady is so good, the Patriots are so good, so Brady gets hated on as well. It's guilty by association, essentially, for Brady. Colts fan says, it makes me sick that we couldn't capitalize against this trash defense, Lou. Andrew Luck played the game like he was cold, scared, or both. And the game plan was all wrong. Cody says, until he says it himself, he's not retiring until he sucks. He being Brady. Gregory Lightbody says, they should have made Ford go to the Redskins for that mistake. Ricky L says, no NFC East team in the Super Bowl. Pats win. Hashtag NFC East owns Brady. Facts. Gregory Lightbody says, Romo should be a coach possibly for my Skins. Romo's, he's just awesome. Storm says, are wins a QB stat is the real question on the GOAT debate. He says, if wins are a QB stat, Brady is the GOAT. If not, there have been more talented QBs than him. No wrong answer there, to be honest. Wins are generally a QB stat. That is a fact. That goes into the factor of greatest quarterback alive. There's obviously more. We've all said that Brady's not the most talented quarterback. I've said it. The best quarterback I've ever seen with these two eyes is Aaron Rodgers. But he's not. Aaron Rodgers isn't more clutch than Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers doesn't win as much as Tom Brady. And thus, Aaron Rodgers isn't better than Tom Brady, but he's the best quarterback I've ever seen. There's a difference, though. Tom Brady may be the best football player I've ever seen. And somebody said that earlier, but I think that's where the distinction lies. If you're just talking off of raw talents, yeah, there are other guys that's better than Tom Brady, but you won't find a better package of winning, competitiveness, ability to get it done in clutch situations, leadership, all of the above. Tom Brady has all of those in spades, and I think that's what separates him from everyone else. Ricky L says, Mr. Sam Bradford is a real GOAT. How much money has this guy made for an average injury-prone QB? Michael Thompson says, Patriots are like Thanos collecting rings in Infinity Stones. Like Infinity Stones, excuse me. Gregory Lightbody says, last time the Chiefs beat the Patriots, they had Alex Smith. Facts. Reid says, damn, I'm 0-2. Wanted the Chiefs and Saints. Andy and Breeze are my only reasons, though. Now I'm going for the Rams. Good to know you're okay over there, Reed. I didn't catch you last week. I went 0-2 this weekend too, Reed, so don't feel bad. It was a rough one for most of us that thought we were going to get the two home teams in the Super Bowl. Stevie D says, D Ford needs to crawl under a rock and hide for the entire offseason. And he played his best ball this year, so and I think he's up for a contract this year, if I'm not mistaken, so he'll be back. He'll be all right. That's rough, though. Dr. TBE says, what do I need to search so I can find the podcast on iTunes? Just type in Louie T Network podcast. So you just type in Louie T Network, and it'll pop right up, man. I appreciate y'all. And for those of you out there, check out the podcast, man. Louie T Network podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Music Play, on TuneIn. Check out the podcast, man. It's great content. If you love watching me here, if you love my content, you're going to love the podcast 10 times more. Support the podcast, man. It's good stuff. All right? For real. Black LB says, nobody hated the Bulls when they were winning with Jordan. It was different, man. When you're a likable figure in basketball, and I'll tell you what, too, in the NBA, that was a different time because the other teams were, like, it was easy to hate the New York Knicks because I myself was a Bulls fan in those days. Really, I was a Scottie Pippen fan. So it was easy to hate the Knicks because they were the bad boys. It was easy to hate the Pistons. They were the bad boys. You know what I mean? It was easy. You wanted to see somebody take down the Celtics. You wanted to see somebody to take down the Pistons. You wanted to see somebody take down the Knicks. You wanted to see somebody take down all those teams in Jordan and the Jazz. Who wanted to see the Jazz win any damn thing? You wanted to see somebody take them down, and it was Jordan and the Bulls to the rescue. CF Coaster says, D Ford is this year's version of the Saints guy who allowed the Minneapolis Miracle. Hope he'll be okay. Yeah, but it's not as drastic a play. Like, there was so much more that happened after that D Ford play. Whereas the Minneapolis Miracle, like, you're on such a big stage and that play can't happen. Like, you can't, like, that game was over. Like, the chances of the Vikings, the Saints winning that game was probably like 99.9%. Whereas the D Ford play, like, it was still 50-50 in the air what the Patriots are going to do. But after the interception, if that was to stand, then it's 100% the Chiefs win the game. So, it's just because there was still more football to be played after that play. The Minneapolis Miracle, there was finality there. Your F-up was the game. It was over. It was no more plays. This F-up, there was still a lot more football. There was plays to be made, and the Chiefs simply couldn't make any on defense. Colts fan says, do you see any of the top pass rushers getting onto the market this year and avoiding the franchise tag? Generally, no. Pass rushers, if you're a really good pass rusher, you don't make it to free agency. It's rare to see one of those guys. Similar to a franchise QB, those guys generally don't hit the market. You know, left tackles, pass rushers, and quarterbacks generally don't hit the free agent market if they're elite. He says his Colts need one. Ricky L says, I actually went 2-0. I don't like either team. Kind of works out for me since I'll be working. Yikes. Sucks when you got to work on Super Bowl Sunday. I think the day after the Super Bowl should be a holiday, but that's another story for another day. We've run out of time, and that's all the comments we have. I thank you guys for joining me. What a Sunday of football it was. I just can't put into words how good of a Sunday this was in terms of NFL action. By far and away the best championship Sunday I've ever seen in my life. And as I've stated many a times, I'm a professional football watcher. Been watching football and understanding the game since I was 5. I've never seen a Sunday quite like this one before. We've seen great games individually, but as a complete day, both AFC and NFC championship games, you couldn't have asked for much more. 2 overtime contests, both road teams getting the victory. And now we have Super Bowl 53 set in stone. Rams versus Patriots should be a hell of a game in the Dome, the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. Bart Scott can't wait. What a day of football. Thank you for joining me. Remember, check out the Louie T Network podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Music Play, on TuneIn, on the website, louietnetwork.net. Also, like this video, subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so as well. And remember, if it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage it could be. I will catch you guys sometime this week. We'll have a little bit of fun. I'll do a Redskins video this week. So for you Redskins fans out there, be on the lookout for that. So much more content coming your way. So stay tuned to the Louie T Network. I'm your man Louie T, signing off. What a game. Patriots in overtime, 37-31. They're moving on to Super Bowl 53, where they will meet the NFC champs in the Los Angeles Rams. Wow. 2 road teams in overtime. Who would have thought? See you guys later. Have a good one.